You say, what can you do? You can stop the guns from getting into these children's hands. I just spent the last 2 hours putting the burial arrangements for my daughter's funeral, who's 14.
She was 14, and he was a coach. She was a sister, and he was a teacher.
They were any one of us, or our neighbors, or our friends, or our children.
Their faces added to the mural of modern life in America.
First Coast News at 11 starts now.
I'm Heather Crawford in Parkland, Florida, where tonight thousands and thousands of people gathered together for a candlelight vigil to remember those 17 innocent lives lost yesterday in that horrific school shooting. So much raw emotion here tonight. So many people asking why. Why did it happen? Why did it happen here? And what can be done to prevent another tragedy like this? And coming up in just a few minutes, you're going to hear from a Douglas High School student who was at school when that gunfire erupted. And you're going to see what he's doing to remember his best friend who never made it home. Anthony and Jessica?
In just 24 hours after that tragic shooting in South Florida, we had a situation of our own right here in Duval County that frightened some parents. A bullet went through a school window.
And 3 Arlington schools were on lockdown after a 17-year-old was shot nearby and a bullet shattered a school's window. First Coast News' Brittany Dion is live tonight with what police are saying about all this. Brittany?
That's right. Police say the victim ran here to the campus trying to take cover from all of the bullets that were flying at him. Police say he ducked down behind some cars, but the point that this school was full of students did not stop the shooter from firing. You're looking at the window where a bullet went through the school into the front office. We spoke to a father today who says his mind could not even fathom something happening to his child.
He's just 10 years old.
It sounded like gunshots, but hammer sounds too.
It's a day Jordan Mason will not soon forget. Around 2 o'clock Thursday, he was sitting in his class at Parkwood Heights Elementary when shots rang out.
Mr. Brown said, "Get down," and we all went down.
The students crawled to a corner with their teacher. Duval County Public Schools police say the shooting started on the street just behind the DCPS police headquarters on Lansdowne Drive in Arlington. The 17-year-old victim was walking when someone began shooting at him. He ran to Parkwood Heights Elementary School to take cover behind cars. The victim was shot multiple times. A bullet shattered a window at the front office. Parkwood, Arlington Middle, and Terry Parker High School were all put on lockdown. DCPS Interim Superintendent Dr. Patricia Willis says staff are trained on how to respond to a wealth of threats, including an active shooter.
Exactly what should have happened, happened. We went into code red, and fortunately it was right near our police officers. We were able to get staff there immediately, get our school staff there. Schools were locked down. Students knew what to do because they practiced it.
Were you scared at any point?
A little bit.
A little bit. Obviously very scary for the students and for their parents. Fortunately, no other injuries were reported in this shooting. Again, police are still looking for the suspect in this case. They say that they are looking for a silver sedan. If you happen to have seen anything or know anything, you're asked to give police a call. You can always call Crime Stoppers and remain anonymous and receive a cash reward if an arrest is made. The number to Crime Stoppers, 1-866-845-TIPS. We're live in Arlington tonight.
Brittany, thank you. Many of you may be wondering how local school districts are reacting to yesterday's school shooting. Today, Duval County Schools held a news conference, but no one from the district spoke publicly about major procedural changes. Interim Superintendent Patricia Willis said they do fire drills at least monthly, and they have code red drills for when a school goes into lockdown. Those are done at least quarterly. Officials say it's important to be vigilant if someone gives warning signs, especially on social media.
You see anything in social media, screenshot it, send it to our email address as it relates to our bully line.
Parents should be confident that every day Safety is the primary foundation of what we do for children, because again, as I said, if our children are not safe, everything else we do is almost for naught.
A coach, a teacher, a star swimmer, they are among the 17 people killed by a heavily armed gunman. And tonight, thousands turned out to honor their lives. We have team coverage for you live from Parkland, and we start with First Coast News anchor Heather Crawford.
And Anthony, I'm right in front of the amphitheater where that vigil took place tonight. On the stage behind me, 12 angels stand representing those 17 angels stand representing those 17 lives lost in the school shooting yesterday. In the field right beside me, there's 17 crosses. It's a very emotional scene here. A lot of people have been coming here throughout the night, leaving flowers, balloons, messages, pictures, remembering their loved ones and trying to make sense of why this happened and how this happened. Yesterday, they saw their friends at school, and today, many of them are gone. I had a chance to talk to some Douglas High School students, and I asked them what they went through and what this is like for them.
I heard like 2 shots, and I thought they sounded like blanks, so I thought we were gonna have like an active shooter drill, and then I heard a 3rd one, and it sounded real. I saw kids start running, so I just started running.
Dylan McCooty still can't make sense of what unfolded at his high school on Valentine's Day. Thursday night, he joined thousands of his classmates, parents, and a grief-stricken community at a candlelight vigil in Parkland to remember the 17 innocent lives lost. He brought with him a poster with pictures of his best friend, Joaquin Oliver.
I saw him yesterday during the day, and I just hugged him.
3 hours later, Joaquin, who was like a brother to him, was gone, shot to death in a 3rd-floor classroom.
We've had plans since we were little. We were going to graduate together. We were going to be friends till really the end. And it's 3 months away from graduation, and I want to graduate with my brother.
Andressa Esper left school early Wednesday. Her little brother, who was in class when the shooting started, texted her as the gunfire got closer. He survived.
It's just been really hard because it's a place where I've grown up, and it's my peers that I've known since I was a child. We went to elementary school together. It's my friends' siblings, and my brother was still in the building. And to think that some of my friends' siblings didn't come home is really hard.
And this is a very tight-knit community here. She told me that she knew the alleged shooter and that it was someone she'd steer clear of. But she never, ever imagined the horror that would unfold at her school yesterday afternoon. And we're hearing stories like that from student after student after student. Tonight, there was a dad who got up on the stage behind me, and he said he sent his 14-year-old daughter to school yesterday because he thought she'd be safe, and she's never coming home. So much heartbreak here, but this community leaning on one another, lifting one another up in this very tragic, trying time. Continuing our live team coverage now is my colleague Hani Rodriguez. She is live tonight at a synagogue here in Parkland where some students yesterday afternoon ran for shelter. Hani?
That's right, Heather. We are less than 4 miles from that high school. I spoke with a rabbi here who told me she actually saw students run here for their lives, for refuge. And I want to say the synagogue here in Parkland has sort of become a safe haven, not only for students on that tragic day, but also following that tragedy for families and students. There are many congregants here who are actually medical professionals who volunteered their time today to act as grief counselors and provide those services for students here. Now, I was also told by the rabbi that tomorrow around noon, they will be holding a funeral here, which is actually not something that's normal or usually held here, but they are making an exception for a family who are expecting at least 300 to show up to those funeral services, again, that will be held here at the synagogue. Now, they did tell me that they will continue to hold grief counselors here tomorrow morning starting at 9 in the morning. The rabbi that I spoke with a little while ago says that this community of Parkland has really come together in a way she's never seen before.
It was just about laughing together, crying together, holding one another, and being there for one another. This town is really, really small and really tight-knit, and there's no one in this town who will not be affected by yesterday.
And for those families who are watching, they wanted to make it known that Jewish or not, they are welcome here to the synagogue in Parkland. For now, I'm going to send it over to Heather Crawford.
Thank you so much. And there has been a GoFundMe page set up for the victims, for their families. I've posted that on my Facebook page. We heard the sheriff today say that authorities have already interviewed 2,000 witnesses, and it is a very meticulous, detailed process they're going through as they continue to investigate. And in the days coming forward, they will continue to interview more and more witnesses. A lot of students told me today they don't know what they're doing tomorrow. They're just taking it day by day. We know that Senator Marco Rubio will be here tomorrow. We're going to stay here in Parkland, and we'll have more for you tomorrow. That is the latest from Broward County. Jessica and Anthony will send it back to you.
All right, Heather, thank you. Well, First Coast News is learning one of the students injured in South Florida went to school in Clay County.
First Coast News reporter Eric Alvarez gives us an update on Maddie Wilford. Eric.
Yeah, teachers are posting on Facebook that Maddie Wilford was shot several times and has pulled through 2 surgeries. Now, as she fights for her life, people are donating to help family with medical expenses. Be strong and brave, Maddie. That's a message from a donor on the GoFundMe page that raised over $22,000 in just one day. Clay County School Superintendent Addison Davis tweeted, "My prayers go out to M. Wilford and family, who is a former student in Clay County schools and survived yesterday's tragic event." A district spokesperson says she went to Plantation Oaks Elementary School. The shooting left 17 people dead, including football coach and security guard Aaron Feis, who's remembered as a hero, as witnesses say he died shielding students from gunfire.
He did it protecting others. You can guarantee that, because that's who Aaron Feis was.
Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel says his 2 sons played for the respected coach.
The kids in this community loved him. They adored him. He was one of the greatest people I knew.
A GoFundMe page for him is getting about $1,000 in donations every hour, as well as messages like ultimate act of love, hero, and your bravery changed the lives of so many. The page says donations will help his wife and daughter in the years to come, while donations to support Missy and Maddie will help the teenager and her mother on what hopefully turns out to be a road to recovery. Now, the most recent post from the teacher's Facebook page says Maddie is scheduled to have another surgery tomorrow. If you'd like to donate to her fund or to the family of Coach Feis, we've posted links at firstcoastnews.com. Eric Alvarez, First Coast News, on your side.
There have been a lot of lives lost inside our children's schools. 32 died in the Virginia Tech shooting, 26 at Sandy Hook Elementary, and 17 yesterday in Parkland. The mother of one of the students said in an interview today that soon people will just move on from this shooting, calling it by its rank the 3rd deadliest. But these numbers all have names and stories. So the question tonight, what can be done to stop it? Today, Governor Rick Scott said he'll be discussing the topic during next week's legislature. His focus, guns and mentally ill. Also called into question by many is the purchase of that AR-15.
Well, it is easier to buy an assault rifle than a handgun if you live in Florida. If you're younger than 21, you cannot buy a handgun, but you can buy an AR-15. There's a 3-day waiting period for people who want to buy a handgun. There's no such thing for an AR-15. A background check is not required if you buy an AR-15 from a private seller.
Students and community members who attended tonight's vigil think that now is the time to start talking about gun control. Listen to what they had to say.
No more guns! 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 No more guns!
Chants of no more guns ring out in the town square tonight and on social media. This tweet sent by a student in response to former right-wing host Tommy Lahren. Carly Novel wrote, "I was hiding in a closet for 2 hours. It was about guns. You weren't there. You don't know how it felt. Guns give these disgusting people the ability to kill other human beings." This is about guns, and this is about all the people who had their life abruptly ended because of guns.
Well, the Broward Sheriff's Office says suspected gunman Nicholas Cruz confessed to carrying out yesterday's attack, and tonight there are new questions over claims that he was involved with a white supremacist militia here in Florida. Our Julia Janae has more on that angle tonight from Jacksonville. Julia?
This statement grabbing headlines earlier today when a Tallahassee-based group purported to have a connection to school shooting suspect Nikolas Cruz. Tonight, the nonprofit that monitors hate groups in the U.S. says those comments are premature.
There are other people we want to certainly talk to. There are people of interest that might enlighten us as to why he did what he did.
With Nikolas Cruz behind bars and his victims identified, his motive remains an unanswered question. One who comes forward is Jordan Jereb, who told the Associated Press Thursday that Cruz was affiliated with his group, the Republic of Florida.
Some form of glove.
Jereb claims Cruz joined them for armed forces training and carpools. Hours later, law enforcement in Leon County told our news partners at the Tallahassee Democrat their investigative work done Thursday yielded no connections and no known ties between Republic of Florida and the Broward shooter. The Southern Poverty Law Center that tracks hate groups in the U.S. said ROF is an organization on their radar but could not confirm the connection to Cruz, calling Jereb a known publicity seeker. SPLC Director Heidi Barrick said Jereb once complained to their office in 2014. He was upset his group had not been listed on their hate watch list.
Now again, that affiliation between the school shooting suspect and the white nationalist group Republic of Florida has not been independently confirmed by anyone outside of the organization as law enforcement continues to search for the why in a tragedy like this. Reporting downtown, Julia Janae, First Coast News on your side.